There was a time when Israel had forgotten her God. The land that once flowed with milk and honey now bled under the boots of the Midianites. Villages burned, harvests vanished beneath foreign hands, and the people who once shouted, "The Lord is our deliverer," now hid in caves, afraid to speak his name. Yet even in the darkest valley, God was listening. In the smallest tribe of Manasseh, in a forgotten field, a man threshed wheat in secret, unaware that heaven's eyes were fixed on him. Then came a voice, gentle yet thunderous. "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior, and through your trembling hands, God will teach the world that victory does not come from strength, but from faith." This is his story, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon. The land of Israel groaned beneath oppression, a land once rich with promise, now barren beneath the weight of fear. For 7 long years, the Midianites had ruled like a plague of locusts, swarming from the east, their camels blackening the hillsides like clouds of storm. They poured through the valleys with the fury of a desert wind, devouring crops, burning homes, tearing down every sign of life and hope. The people of God watched their fields vanish beneath foreign hands. The grain they had sown with prayer was stolen in a single night. Villages once filled with laughter stood in ashes. The smoke of ruined harvests clung to the sky. Mothers wept for empty baskets. Fathers hid their faces in shame. From the mountains of Manasseh to the plains of Jezreel, no one dared stand against the Midianite horde. Their tents covered the land, countless, endless, a sea of enemies that no man could number. Israel had no sword strong enough, no army great enough, no heart brave enough, and so the people fled. They left their homes and hid in caves, in clefts of the rock, in holes of the earth. Fear hung over every harvest like a shadow. Men threshed their wheat in secret. Women whispered their prayers behind stone walls. Even the sound of a grinding wheel or the cry of a child might draw the eyes of their oppressors. The people who had once marched through the Red Sea now trembled at the sight of dust on the horizon. Israel, God's chosen, was broken, hungry, and afraid. And when at last their cries rose from the mountains, the heavens heard. For though the people had forgotten the Lord, he had not forgotten them. There, in the smallest town of Manasseh, a man named Gideon threshed wheat in secret, hiding it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon looked up, startled. "Pardon me, my Lord," he said, "but if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are his wonders our ancestors told us about?" The angel replied, "Go in the strength you have. Am I not sending you?" Still Gideon shook his head. "My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house." But the Lord answered, "I will be with you, and you shall strike down the Midianites as one man." Gideon said, "If now I have found favor, give me a sign." He prepared an offering, a young goat and bread, and set it upon a rock. The angel of the Lord touched it with the tip of his staff, and fire rose from the stone, consuming it. Then the angel vanished into the night. Gideon fell to the ground in awe, for he knew he had seen the face of God. He said in terror, "Sovereign Lord, I have seen your angel face to face." But the Lord said to him, "Peace. Don't be afraid. You will not die." Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and named it, "The Lord is Peace." The altar still stands at Ophrah to this day. That same night, the Lord spoke again. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Build an altar to the Lord your God on this height. Gideon took 10 servants and did as the Lord commanded. But because he feared his family and the men of the town, he did it by night. At dawn, the townsmen awoke to find Baal's altar destroyed, the sacred pole cut down, and a new altar smoking with the scent of sacrifice. Who has done this? They cried. Word spread. Gideon, son of Joash. They demanded his death, but Joash said, "If Baal is a god, let him defend himself." And from that day, Gideon was called Jerub-Baal, meaning, let Baal contend with him. Soon, the Midianites and Amalekites gathered in the valley like a sea of tents, their camels beyond number, their spears gleaming under moonlight. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon. He blew a trumpet, and the tribes of Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali rallied to his call. Yet still doubt whispered in his heart. Gideon said to God, "If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have promised, let there be dew only on the fleece and dryness on all the ground." Morning came. He wrung a bowl full of water from the fleece, but fear still clung to him. Again he prayed, "Do not be angry with me. This time let the fleece be dry and the ground wet with dew." And that night God did so. The ground glistened with moisture, but the fleece was dry. Gideon was now happy and finally convinced. Yes! One day, Gideon and all his men got up early and camped beside the spring of Harod. The Midianite camp was in the valley to the north of them by Moreh Hill. The Lord said to Gideon, "The men you have are too many for me to give them victory over the Midianites. They might think that they had won by themselves, and so give me no credit. Announce to the people, anyone who is afraid should go back home, and we will stay here at Mount Gilead." So 22,000 turned away, 10,000 remained. The Lord said again, "There are still too many. Take them to the water. I will test them there." Those who knelt to drink were sent home. Those who cupped water with their hands were chosen. And when the counting was done, only 300 men remained, 300 against a host as vast as sand on the seashore. The Lord said, "With these 300 I will save Israel." That night the Lord said, "Go down to the camp of Midian, for I have delivered them into your hands. But if you are afraid, take your servant Purah and listen." So Gideon crept to the edge of the enemy camp. The valley below shimmered with thousands of fires. He heard two soldiers talking. One said, "I dreamed a round loaf of barley bread came tumbling into the camp. It struck the tent and flattened it." The other replied, "This can be nothing but the sword of Gideon, for God has given Midian into his hand." Gideon fell to his knees and worshipped. Then he returned to his camp and cried, "Arise, for the Lord has given the camp of Midian into our hands." Each man carried a trumpet, an empty clay jar, and a torch inside the jar. Gideon said, "Watch me. When I blow the trumpet, do likewise. Then shout, 'The sword of the Lord and of Gideon.'" At the middle watch of the night, they surrounded the camp. Suddenly, the silence broke, trumpets blaring, jars shattering, flames bursting through the darkness. 300 voices thundered, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon." Panic swept through the Midianite camp. And then, in the dead of night, as the torches blazed and the trumpets roared, the Lord moved through the camp of Midian like a whirlwind of confusion. Panic seized their hearts. In the darkness, every shadow became an enemy, every sound a threat, every flicker of light a sword raised against them. The mighty warriors of Midian men who had crushed nations now turned their blades upon each other. The Lord caused them to turn their swords against one another. Brother struck brother, friend fought friend. Shouts of command turned to screams of terror. Horses reared, tents collapsed. The valley that had echoed with pride now trembled with chaos. The night sky flared with fire as the camp burned from within, the once proud army undone by its own hand. No human strength had done this, no strategy, no weapon. It was the hand of the Almighty unseen, unstoppable, turning confusion into judgment and fear into deliverance. And as the enemy fled, the hills of Israel shook with the cry, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon." Gideon's men pursued them through the night. He called out to the tribes of Ephraim, "Seize the waters of the Jordan before the enemy can cross." They captured the forts. Gideon captured the two kings also, the kings of Zebah and Zalmunna returning. He punished the towns that had mocked him, then brought the kings before his own people. "These are the men," he said, "who killed my brothers at Tabor." And Gideon executed judgment upon them. When the battle was done, the land rested. The people said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you and your sons." But Gideon replied, "I will not rule over you, nor shall my son. The Lord will rule over you." Gideon continued to worship the Lord, and he lived many years. He had 71 sons, for he was a man of many wives, and peace filled the land for 40 years. When he died, he was buried in the tomb of Joash his father. From fear to faith, from weakness to victory, Gideon's story is a mirror for all who doubt. For God does not choose the mighty. He makes mighty those he chooses. He takes the smallest tribe. Gideon was the least in his family, from the weakest tribe. Yet God said, "I will be with you." The trembling man, the fragile faith, and turns them into weapons of light. God doesn't need your confidence, just your surrender. When you put your trust in God, He will turn your fear into freedom and your story into testimony. And through Gideon's voice still echoes the call, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Thank you for watching this Bible story. If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe and turn on the notification icon so you do not miss the next one. It helps support us to make more videos like this. Also, do not forget to like our videos and share your thoughts with others in the comment section.